Hey Pisces, and welcome to your 2019 January Lenormand reading. I'm Jade with yesYesYes, and thank you for coming to my channel. We are going to do a Lenormand spread, and this is a deck that was created by Mademoiselle Lenormand and in Paris, I believe in the 19th century. And it's 36 cards, and its most famous layout is the Grand Tableau, which we are going to do. Now it's very general, but what's great about Lenormand is that it's really like just kind of it will tell you like it is, and then you have the choice to do with that information or change that information in any way that you want to, because it's usually just very like, this is how we're seeing things as they are right now, which is why I love it. So it'll be great for the new year. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear if it resonates for you. And if you'd like to work with me, all that information is in the box below. So we're gonna get started here for Pisces, January 2019. Okay, and I pre-shuffled, so I'm just kind of finishing this up now. So let's see for Pisces 2019, where are we going to start with all of this? It's that one. Okay. And hopefully I'll get the layout right. Starting with the fox, this path, the cross, the child, the tower, the lilies, the bouquet, and the book. I like when the flowers come up next to each other. The stars, the moon, the mice, snake, letter, sun, most positive in the deck, the whip, and the tree. The ring, birds, clouds, mountain, the heart, the stork, the park or garden, and the fish. It's interesting that those are on the same line. The clover, the ship, the scythe, the dog, the woman card, the house, the rider, and the coffin. And then these are going to be the summation. Okay, so we have the key, the bear, the man card, and the anchor. Let's see. Yes, you can see them all. Great. Okay, so the first thing is, here are your significators. The female energy is read by the woman. The male energy is read by the man. Interesting that he's down here in the summation. So it'll be a stretch. I'll work this out, but basically most of this reading is probably going to be dealing with the feminine energy here and what is on her mind and in her experience. Another thing is I want to check and see if any of the cards are in their houses, and that'll just give another flavor to what's going on here. So give me a moment. Okay, and I have to count it with my finger because otherwise I will lose track. So, interesting that the woman came out in her own house and the key came out in its own house. So I'll say mostly what's happening is we're going to be reading for the feminine energy here, and also with the key in its own house, that means that what is being talked about is going to be very, we're going to have to take marked note of it. Okay, so there's some message that's really important in all of this, and in the feminine house, we also want to be receptive to that message. Okay, so I'll leave those kind of marked out, and then we'll keep going. So for our first line, we have the fox, and the fox is, I look at the entrepreneurial card, but it's also cunning, and he's smart and mischievous. So there's this cunning energy that you made a choice about in the past. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is our line for present, future, and past. So there was something cunning that was made a choice about in the past, and it felt there was a burden, and it was a new burden in the past, okay? So it could have been that you made a choice about work, and you maybe made the choice to take on a job that felt more of a burden in order to support your children, okay? That's a very clear way of saying that. And this job has to do, it could be in an organization, a corporation, even in a university. Okay. The other thing is that this could be you, and that you are a new student in this university. So you've made a choice, and it was a heavy, weighty choice, and it was a choice to move into university. Okay. So now we'll read it to the future. We have two flower cards. This the lilies is very interesting. The lilies is about sensuality, it's about antiquated, it's also about legacy. So there's something about legacy coming up, but it's a positive, right? So there's something in the future that is about your family, and it could also be about grandparents or about older people, but there's a positive message coming through that's going to, and this is the book, reveal a secret, okay? There's going to be something revealed about your family or an older generation. Now, again, going back here, I'm thinking that this might have to do with, you made a choice, a work choice to support your children, and then because of that, you're going to learn, and maybe you'll learn that your parents did the exact same thing, where they made a choice to take care of you over doing something that they had wished that they really did in life, if that makes sense. So we make choices, and we sacrifice ourselves, we sacrifice our dreams sometimes for children. So that's what seems to be going on in this first line. Now the second line here, we have the stars with the moon, which means that there's some destined, but also it could be a lot of energy that's been used and overused emotionally. So some emotional energy that could be destined, but I'm thinking it's overuse because we have the mice and the snake here. So being all up in the head, being really nervous about it, and also this is like a devious card, deception from someone else, right? The mice is what's going on in your head. This is because of someone else. So there were some emotional issues that happened in the past that created some anxiety within you, and it was because there was some kind of devious action from someone else in your life that was they were devious, or they were working against you, and this information came to you by way of a text, an email, or an actual letter, a contract, anything that's a written statement, okay? So you were feeling anxious emotionally, and then there was something that was it's a snake in the grass, right? It's some sneakiness that came out in this letter, okay? Now, what I will say is forward, we're getting a little bit better. The sun brightens it up. So there's going to be success. There's going to be happiness and joy at the end of this because this information was brought out. And the information seems to be that it's regarding your family. So we might be coming back to this. But it also could be revealed in your legacy, like what's coming forward in your life, or it could be about your health, okay? So so there could have been, like a misdiagnosis, but now it's, coming to light. It could be that there was, again, if you made a choice in your life to sacrifice for your children, all of this anxiety and then this deception in the past, you've lived with it. You might have lived with a bad relationship, on behalf of your children. But all of that is changing. Even though the whip is here, and the whip is a repetition card, but it's also a card of hurting oneself, going over and over things. So you might still be in this anxious place in the future. However, I think that it's going to brighten up, right? You're going to go over and over these health records. You're going to go over, what it means to have a legacy, what it means to leave things for your children or create a better life for yourself and your family. So despite this being a card that has some negative connotation, I think that the sun is going to brighten it up. Okay, so this is your second line. Third line, we have both the heart and the ring on this line. So this is more than likely going to deal with a relationship, but let's see. So we have some kind of commitment that's been talked about, and sometimes this could be gossip. And there was some confusion, but what has been brought about has been some kind of isolation or a challenging, slow movement forward towards love. So this seems to be like there was a possibility of a relationship in the past, or it was a relationship that was definitely happening in the past. There have been some slow challenges and slow progress to get it going forward. And maybe it's, it may not have been an actual marriage, but it might have been, or you might have been slowly hoping that this relationship was going to develop into a marriage. But now here we are, we're in the line of love, and also this masculine energy is on the same line. So what it's looking like is that despite it being a slowly developing relationship, it's coming forward, it's a new beginning, it's going to be public, and it's going to be abundant and blessed for you. This is a money and a finance card, however, it also can mean prosperity and just general blessings, abundance, plenty of fish. Maybe you just meet somebody, you met this person online or whatever. But what I'm saying is that you're in the line of love. It's going to have a new beginning that's very public and it's very prosperous. So despite this, and again, remember, these are the past, you're moving forward into better waters, literally better waters, okay? So that's your third line. Fourth line here, we have the luck card. Now there was some luck that you had in travel and that ended, or it came to a swift halt, and it has to do with a friend. So maybe a friend got sick, or maybe a friend called you back and said, hey, can you come over? Can you come back to town? I really need you right now. Or it could just been this relationship that started to blossom and you need to kind of come back down to reality, I guess I should say. This could also be a journey, an internal or an emotional journey, and an excitement that's happening inward rather than a physical outward journey. But most of the time the ship has to do with movement. So that movement came swiftly, and there was something that halted it that has to do with this dog. And the dog is your loyalty card, it's your friendship card. Now, again, there's some, this friendship is how it's being revealed to you. On the other side of you, however, there's a firm foundation of home, and where we're going is actually, we're leading to some type of transformation, some type of ending, some type of change, okay? So the change could be from where we were, which was a lot of movement. It could be from all of this anxiety, all this emotional issue. It could be all of this this weightiness, this sacrifice that was made early on, and that change is happening. A lot of times we can look at these two cards and talk about the whole story being told between these two cards. So we started with some cunningness that wasn't quite forthright, and now that's ending, okay? So just keep that in mind as well. And then your four final cards, the key to success in all of this is going to be staying strong in either a maternal nature or strong in your financial acumen, or it's just being as formidable as a bear would be, but that's the key. And this bear is part of this masculine energy. So there's something where he's either financially, and this could be he works in the financial market. It could be he brings you benefits or success financially, or that he has that himself, but it's stable. He's stable. He's not going anywhere. It's beautiful, actually, because he's flanked by these two cards, which are both stable and supportive, okay? This is very supportive. It can be a challenge, but I feel like at this point right here, with it being a nice balance, I think it's a supportive card. This is beautiful. Okay, so let's look at this heart card again. So surrounding it, in the past, we've got some deception from some friends, and it's been a challenge, okay? So in the past with your relationships, you might have had some issue with friends, okay? Friends might have gotten involved and made it too many cooks in the kitchen, if that makes sense. So it's suggesting that you two just keep your own path and don't worry about the friends. Because in the future, you have bright new beginnings and a home, you know, a stable, solid home here, okay? So everything that's we're moving away from is helping and supportive of this relationship that you might be currently in, okay? Especially because we already had some commitment here in the past. Your health is way over here in the future, so let's just talk about that. There might, again, we talked about maybe there was some misdiagnosis, or maybe there was some issue with your health in the past, some anxiety, sleepless nights, that type of thing. But we again are in a better place where the truth of whatever that was is coming to light. And just keep in mind that if it is something where you were not sleeping well, or if it is something that can multiply, you're in that line with the fish. So keep in mind that it could continue. We do want it to end, but this is subconscious, right? So just keep in mind that if there's something health or family related where the multiplication of that can be problematic, keep that in check, okay? So keep that in check. That's what that's there for. And then we talked a little bit about this card being, it could be work related. This could be work or money related. So I'm seeing that your money is closely connected to this gentleman. It's, you know, you might have been in business with a friend, but now your future is really in business with this gentleman, or being with a man who is in business for himself, okay? And this is in the past, so we're moving away from perhaps being an entrepreneur, perhaps doing things on your own, or doing things all alone, okay? So keep that in mind as well, Pisces. So that's what I have for you for January 2019. Again, keep it, it's very general, but there's a lot going on here, and there's some beautiful things opening up for you. So I hope you're seeing that. This is transformation. This is the ending of these anxiousness, this anxious cycle. I love that this is all in your backdrop, and that everything here is moving forward. So please like and share and subscribe, and leave me a comment if it resonates. I'd love to hear from you. And for now, I'm wishing you a Happy New Year.